All right, folks, so still to come on the show, meatless bites from Ethiopia that will have you feeling positive, I'm told. But right now, a lot more people are testing positive. HIV on the rise was the Gleaner headline we touched on in Hot Topics. So now we continue the conversation with Annalisa Morgan-Williams and Michael Jackson of Jamaica AIDS Support for Life. Mrs. Morgan-Williams in the red, good morning to you both.
Morning, ladies.
Morning.
Morning.
Scary headline, Annalisa.
Yes. But the thing is, it's on the rise, and we just have to face it. It's mostly between like young people we're seeing the virus.
Tell us the age group when you say young. what are we
About
looking
15 to 24 for female, and 13 to 25, 26.
So we have young boys, teenagers, children who are testing HIV positive.
Why?
Some of the issues that we look at, especially among the young men, you're talking about multiple sex partners, inconsistent condom use. One of the issues that we see is over 40% of our young people are engaged in transactional sex.
What's the percentage?
About 40%.
Wow.
What does transactional sex
So
mean?
transactional sex, I will give you sex and you give me gifts such as paying my school fee, buying me a cell phone and so on. And you can imagine that some of these issues are tied to poverty and so. So we are really concerned about it. One of the other proximal factors that we do raise for an increase in new infections among our young people is our ability to provide adequate sexual and reproductive health information and services.
What are some of the roadblocks to delivering that? Because condom distribution for a 13-year-old, I mean, we want to educate them on how, but can they really access it without stigma, without persecution? What are some of the roadblocks in delivering that SRH?
One of the
reproductive
major roadblocks that we have is the law. So based on the law, we're not able to provide services to anybody under age 16. And then you're seeing where the sexual debut is 14 for boys and 15 for girls. So when they start having sex from that early age and you're not able to effectively provide the information that they need, then you're talking about late diagnosis and again the issues that we mentioned earlier, such as the inconsistent condom use.
You can't. I understand what the law says, but what do you mean by you can't tell my son that, hey, Ray. What do you mean by that?
So like Mrs. Morgan-Williams, as the interventions officer, she would go in high schools and she would go in primary schools and she can give general information about abstinence, But in terms of saying to a youngster, these are the kind of contraceptives that we have and this is where you can get it and so on, we're very limited in our ability to speak about sex in a frank way that meet the needs of the realities on the ground.
All right, well, there are 2,000 newly diagnosed cases. Is that what I'm hearing this year?
1,222 in 2016.
In 2016? All right. So when you go out and you're speaking to primary school students, give us an idea of how you intervene, how you put in that prevention talk.
All right, so from the get-go, the teachers already brief you in not talking about, they want to talk about abstinence and HIV, but not about how they can really contract it, because they don't want to talk about sex or anything.
But, okay.
So what I will do, I will basically get a box and basically tell them that you can ask me anything you want. Anything as it relates to HIV, anything as it relates to sex, anything. So, and don't write your name on it. So at the end, I'll do question and answer, and then all the answers will be coming out. And the only thing they ask about is sex.
So
That's
let me.
What are they asking? Sorry, I want to know, what are they asking about it in particular? Is it that they are curious? Is it that they are involved? Like, what do you get from the questions?
Mostly, oral sex.
Okay, if certain things can happen, if,
Yes.
okay. I'm just curious of what are they asking? And so you're able to give them that information. What if somebody in that situation is 14 and has come to you and said, I'm having unprotected, what do you do with provisions that are made in the law? What can you do to help that child? Because they're having it. We know, we see the result. What can you do?
Yeah, which is what I was going to add to Empress's question, because you are telling me, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you know that these young men and young women are having sex, but you can't tell them how to protect themselves.
Well, go ahead.
the thing is, with the question and answer, I will answer it. So whatever is in the question and answer box, I will answer it.
Okay, so you're waiting on them. You don't just come in and say...
We don't want to pray.
You can't do it. You can't.
We're not able to provide the services necessary. So, for example, if a minor, and I'm deliberately using the word minor versus a child, if a minor presents herself or himself at the office, then certainly we're not in the position to treat that minor without notifying the parent. So it's the issue of parental consent that is important. Now, you can imagine that if a minor presents at the office with an STI and you go to parental consent, then you would have lost the opportunity to effectively treat such a minor. And that is one of the issues that we're having because of the law. Yeah. So what we're saying is that the law needs to match the realities on the ground.
Sorry, I'm a little confused. If you say you go to parental consent, which means what? So
we need to go to the parent.
So my son is 13 and him come to you with a problem, and you come to me and say what?
The child has a problem. May I have your permission to treat the child? No.
Do you go to the parents, or you ask the children to bring their parents?
That is what the law asks you to do. Go and ask for your parent to take you back.
Let's talk about the problematic issues that you face doing that, knowing how some parents would respond. Is this a challenge? How are parents responding when you face that?
So if you come to me, because it was my 13-year-old son, you come to me and say, boy, your son in some problems. And what I said to you after that?
So you can imagine that a parent who has this sense that their child is not having sex. You know, my child should not be engaged in such an activity. So the kind of conversation that is necessary to be had with your child is not being had. So the level of parental involvement is not being had. And then because of how we are, you're talking about us grooming the child, supposedly, and telling them how to have sex. But we look at it that we're preventing the child to have teenage pregnancy.
No, but I gone past that, I reached the stage now that you come to me and tell me about my child. Why would I not want you to treat my child? What am I saying to you?
Tell us about, what he's saying is, tell us about the parents, Jamaican parents, and case studies that you have witnessed. How are the parents responding? And are the children not fearful, from my experience, fearful to even tell their parents?
Absolutely.
So therefore, is that a roadblock in getting treatment for the child?
Yes,
what's happening with the parents?
It's a roadblock because I think some of the parents, they are living in denial, and the fact of the matter is they're having sex. So how can we deal with it? Because they are not educating their children about sex and our sexual reproductive health. They're not doing that. So the kids basically go out on the road and get influenced the wrong way.
What do you want to happen from Jamaica AIDS Support for Life? You are the intervention officer in Kingston, and you are the grants manager. What do you both need? Whether it's legislative change, whether it's education, public education campaigns. What do you need to bring change and decrease the numbers of infections in Jamaica? What do you need now?
Certainly, we want the legislation to match the realities of what's happening on the ground. We want the legislation to ensure that it recognizes the right of the child to also be able to have that responsibility to seek health care where that opportunity or issue arises. What we also want is for parents to recognize that children are exposed to sex, and they need to ensure that the children have the information necessary to protect themselves. So as a society, we have to recognize that we can't be talking about 16 and 17-year-olds to provide information to children, because they are having sex from early as age 11. So we have to face the reality of what is happening and provide information in a way that match the reality on the ground.
Wow. Is there a suggestion in anything that you just said that you would leave the parent out of this if my child came to you?
Absolutely not. We want the parents to ensure that if a child says that, Mommy, I'm having sex, or I'm thinking about sex, the first reaction cannot be to beat the child.
No, but
the first reaction cannot be to reprimand the child. We have to have the conversation about sex in a way where our children feel comfortable enough to come to us.
My question really was, again, if a young person comes to you and say, well, I don't want mommy and daddy know.
By law, you have to tell the parent.
Can you do anything to help that young person without getting the family involved?
We can refer the child to the Office of the Children Advocate, and then in a particular situation, we can ask permission and have that legal responsibility to provide care. But again, you find that you have to go through state care or you have to go to the parents. And by the time that happens, you would have lost that child.
Well,
And again,
there must
HIV
be a reason we have
continues.
these laws and rules, but I think reality
Must prevail.
be a part of all the
The
The good
discussion.
thing that some laws can be amended.
Yeah.
And so it's really is about your advocacy at
Right.
Jamaica AIDS Support for
Fantastic.
Life. Thank
Boy,
you.
you have a tough job. Boy, this is kind of scary almost.
It's very scary.
Thanks for coming.
Did you hear what my grants manager just said? 11 years old.
From the Jamaica's AIDS Support for Life, Targeted Intervention Officer in Kingston, Hannalisa Morgan Williams, and Grants Manager, Mikhail Jackson.
Wait, yeah.
On the other side of the break, we take a look at the world up closer with a travel blogger, Empress Camille. We'll have that one soon come.